I sat across from Ariana in her glass office, trying to steady my breath as she stared at me like I was a stranger. "Ethan," she said, her voice flat, "we need to end this. I want a divorce." I blinked, unsure if I heard her right. "A divorce? Ariana? What? Why now?" "There's no point dragging this out," she replied. She didn't even look angry. She just looked tired. "We haven't been working for a long time. You know that?" "I don't," I whispered. "I thought we were just stressed. Work, life, you're bored. Everything's been heavy. We can fix it, Ariana. Just tell me what you want." "I don't want to fix something that's already dead." Right. My chest tightened. Dead? I didn't even know we were dying. Sharp buzz cut through the silence. Her phone lit up on the desk. I wasn't supposed to look, but my eyes moved on instinct. Damon Black. I felt something cold slide through my spine. She flipped the phone over quickly. "Don't read into that." "Not reading into anything," I said, though. The crack in my voice betrayed me. "But it's strange timing. It's business. That's all." Her tone dropped colder. "Please, Ethan, don't make this harder." Swallowed hard. "So that's it? After everything?" "You'll be fine," she said, as if she were reassuring an employee she was laying off. "You're stronger than you think." Well, I said. "I'm not. Not without at least knowing why." She leaned back. "I don't love you the way you need. I haven't for a while. I thought you felt the same." "I didn't," I said. "I still don't." I waited. "Are you leaving me for him?" She pressed her lips together. "This isn't about Damon." It was the kind of answer that wasn't a no. I felt the floor tilt under me. "Ariana, I gave you everything. Every hour, every part of me. Was it not enough?" "It was too much," she snapped, then sighed. "You cared so hard it felt like pressure." And I couldn't breathe. I lowered my eyes. "So loving you was a burden. I'm not blaming you. I'm just done. Please accept it." My throat burned. "You could have told me before today. You would have begged," she said softly, and I didn't want to hear it. I stared at her, wondering when she became someone who didn't want to hear me speak. "Do I get a chance to change your mind?" "No." The word landed like a hammer. "Okay," I breathed. "If you're really sure, then I won't force myself into a place you don't want me." She nodded, almost relieved. "Thank you." Her phone buzzed again. Damon's name flashed once more. She didn't flip it this time. I stood up slowly. "Tell him I said hi." "Ethan, it's fine," I lied. "I'm getting used to being the last to know things." She didn't chase after me. She just stared at her desk, waiting for me to walk out. When I reached the door, she said, "I hope one day you'll understand." I looked back at her. "I hope you do too." The hallway outside felt colder than the office itself. I leaned against the wall, breathing hard. My hands were shaking. I kept hearing her voice, calm, distant, final. I kept seeing Damon's name blinking like a warning I ignored for too long. A coworker passed by and nodded. "Everything good, Ethan?" "Never better," I said, forcing a smile that didn't belong to my face. I walked to the elevator, each step heavier than the last. When the doors closed, I finally let the truth hit me. I wasn't angry. Not yet. I was empty. Like someone had scooped everything out of me and left only the shell. "She really chose him," I whispered to the empty elevator. "Or maybe she chose anyone but me." I pressed my palm to my face, trying to breathe. I told myself I'd be strong, that I'd move on, that I'd be fine. But the truth settled deep in my chest like a stone. I had no idea who I was without her. I stepped out of the building, hoping the air would steady me, but the city noise only made my thoughts louder. A group of employees walked by, unaware that my life had just fallen apart. I kept moving until I reached the corner, staring at my reflection in a dark window. I looked like someone hit by a quiet storm. I whispered, "What now?" But the street gave no answer. I checked my phone, no messages, no missed calls. Ariana had already moved on, and I was left trying to remember how to breathe. In that moment, I realized my real fight was only just beginning for me. I stood in the hallway, staring at the boxes stacked outside my apartment. My name scribbled on each one like I'd already been erased. She didn't, I whispered. But when I pushed the door open, I saw the truth. Ariana had done exactly that. Movers were inside, carrying out the last pieces of my life, without even looking at me. "Hey, stop," I said, but my voice cracked. "I'll pack my own stuff." One of the guys shrugged. "We were told to clear it all before 7. Told by who?" "Ariana," he said simply, and the word landed like a punch. I stepped aside, feeling like a guest in my own home, watching strangers take my memories apart. When the door finally closed behind them, silence filled the room, heavy, suffocating. I dropped to the floor between the boxes. "She couldn't even wait," I muttered. "Not even an hour." Soft knock tapped against the open door. "Ethan." Lila Carter peeked in. Her brown ponytail bounced a little as she stepped closer. Oh my God. What happened? I rubbed my face, avoiding her eyes. Divorce happened. And apparently, eviction. She walked inside slowly. "You're sitting on the floor like someone stole your soul. Feels like they did." Lila knelt beside me. "Did Ariana at least talk to you? Warn you?" "No. She just sent movers like I was." "Trash." Her face twisted. "You don't deserve that." "Maybe I do," I muttered. "No," she said sharply. "Ethan, look at me." "I didn't." She sighed and touched my shoulder gently. "You're allowed to be hurt." "I'm not hurt," I lied. "I'm just shocked." She gave a small, sad smile. "You look hurt. I'm fine. You're sitting on the floor surrounded by boxers. No one sits like this when they're fine." I swallowed hard. "Thanks, Lila, but I don't need pity." "It's not pity," she said. "It's concern." "Well, I don't need that either." She pulled her hand back. "Okay, I'll give you space. But you don't have to go through this alone." "I've already been alone," I said quietly. "Long before today." She hesitated near the door. "If you need anything at all, I'm right across the hall." I nodded but didn't answer. When she left, the apartment felt even emptier. I spent hours pretending to organize the boxes. But really, I just replayed every fight, every cold silence. Every moment Ariana looked at me like I was a burden she was tired of carrying. By nightfall, the hallway lights flickered through my window. I stood, stretching my stiff legs, ready to drag another box closer when voices echoed outside. Familiar voices. I stepped to the peephole. Ariana walked in laughing. Not the polite laugh she used with me. This one was bright, free. Damon was beside her, one hand sliding around her waist like he belonged there. She leaned into him, smiling up at him with a glow I hadn't seen in years. He said something I couldn't hear. But she laughed again, the sound stabbing through the door. My chest tightened. "So that's it," I whispered. She didn't fall out of love. She upgraded. Damon pressed the elevator button for her, hand lingering on her lower back. She didn't flinch. Didn't hesitate. She looked happy. Happier than she'd ever looked with me. The moment the elevator doors closed, my knees buckled. I slid down the wall, breath shaking out of me in broken gasps. I covered my face, but the tears came anyway, hot, humiliating, unstoppable. "She replaced me," I whispered. Before I was even gone, my voice echoed in the hallway, and for the first time in years, I didn't try to stop myself. I just let it all unravel. Leela's door cracked open across the hall, just slightly, like she'd heard everything. I didn't call out to her. I couldn't. Shame glued me to the floor, and the thought of anyone seeing me like this made my stomach twist. But a small part of me, one I barely recognized, wished she would step out anyway. Wished someone would sit beside me and tell me I wasn't as worthless as I felt. Instead, I stayed there in the dim hallway, trying to remember how to breathe. I stared at my phone in the cheap lobby of the motel, trying to breathe as the numbers on my banking app loaded. When the balance finally showed, my stomach dropped. "0, I whispered. That can't be right. I refreshed the screen twice, hoping it was a glitch, but nothing changed. I dialed Ariana's number with shaking fingers. "Hey," I said when she answered. "The joint card isn't working." "Did something happen?" She sighed like I was bothering her. It must be some automatic freeze. I'll fix it tomorrow. I wanted to believe her. I really did. I sat on the bench outside, rubbing my temples. Leela walked up with a grocery bag and stopped when she saw my face. "What happened now?" she asked. I showed her the screen. She said it was an accident. Lila shook her head. "Ethan, come on. That wasn't an accident. She froze it on purpose." I frowned. Why would she do that? I don't even have anywhere to go. She sat beside me. Because she doesn't want you depending on her anymore. She wants a clean break. I leaned forward, elbows on my knees. She didn't have to cut me off like this. "I'll help you find a room," Lila said softly. I shook my head. "You don't need to fix my life." She crossed her arms. "I'm not letting you sleep outside." We argued for a few minutes before I gave in. She drove me around the city as I called one cheap rental after another. "Already taken," one landlord said. Another told me no vacancies. The third hung up on me when I asked about prices. "This is pointless," I muttered. Lila glanced at me. "There's a basement unit near my building. It's small, but it's safe." "Fine, let's try it." The basement was damp, tiny, and smelled like old paint, but I nodded when the landlord asked if I wanted it. "Yeah," I said. "I'll take it." After signing papers, I sank onto the thin mattress and stared at the cracked ceiling. "This is rock bottom," I whispered. My phone buzzed. Lila texted, "Did you eat yet?" I typed back, "I'm fine." She sent, "You're lying." I didn't reply. Instead, I punched the wall hard. Why did I give her everything? I said through my teeth. My time, my loyalty, my dreams. And she threw me out like nothing. Blood dripped from my knuckles as I walked to the nearest bar. The bartender raised an eyebrow. "Rough night?" "Worst one," I said, dropping onto a stool. I drank until the room tilted. When I stumbled outside, I leaned against the wall, breathing hard. "Great," a woman's voice said. "Another idiot trying to bleed to death." I turned to see a woman in scrubs, gloves in her back pocket. "Let me see your hand," she said. "I'm fine," I muttered. "You're not," she replied. "Give it." I held it out, and she winced. "Wow, that wall won, didn't it?" I nodded toward her. "Who are you?" "Dr. Mia Rowan," she said. Doctor? And you?" "A guy who ruined his hand because he ruined his life." She cleaned the cut with something that burned like fire. "So," she said, "who broke you?" I laughed bitterly. "My wife?" "Well, ex-wife. Soon." Mia clicked her tongue. "Let me guess. Cold, beautiful, and full of excuses." "Something like that?" She wrapped my hand and looked at me. "A woman like her doesn't leave unless she's already moved on." Her words hit harder than the punch. "So you're saying she replaced me already?" Mia shrugged. "I'm saying you don't hit walls unless you already know the truth." I looked down at my bandaged hand. "Maybe I do," she sighed. "Listen, you're not the first man to get tossed aside by someone who didn't value him. But you can still choose what happens next." I let out a slow breath. Right now, all I can choose is whether I drink more or go home. She smirked. "Go home and stop punching walls. They always win." I nodded. "Thanks, doctor. Get some sleep, Ethan," she said. "Tomorrow will hurt less." Hope she was right. When I walked back to the basement room, the night felt colder than before. I sat on the edge of the mattress and stared at my wrapped hand. "She moved on," I whispered. Saying it out hurt, but it also cleared inside me. Maybe this was the start of my change. I kept telling myself I was ready, that a week was enough time to build some kind of emotional armor. But the moment I stepped inside Ariana's office floor, my pulse started hammering. I didn't expect anything dramatic, just a signature and silence. That was supposed to be it. Clean, simple, dead. But right as I reached her door, I heard her voice. Sharp. Tense. "No, Damon. That's not what I meant," she snapped. I froze. Damon's voice came next, low and irritated. "Then what did you mean? You said leaving him would prove you were serious about us." My breath hitched. "Us." I leaned closer. I didn't say it like that, she argued. I just needed to know if you were still committed. So you threw your husband away to test me? Damon scoffed. Ariana, what the hell is wrong with you? My chest tightened. Every word felt like a blade. That's not fair, she said. You pulled away first. I had to see if I still wanted you. He shot back. God, Ariana. That's twisted. I came back because I thought you actually made a decision. I did, she insisted, but her voice wavered. I think I did. You think? Damon hissed. Do you want me or not? Silence, my stomach dropped. I wasn't even part of the conversation. I wasn't even a memory. Just a tool, a test, a measuring stick for another man's loyalty. I pushed the door open. Both of them turned. Ariana paled. Damon stiffened, jaw clenching. Oh, she breathed. You're early. I figured you'd be busy, I said, keeping my voice steady. Didn't mean to interrupt the evaluation process. Damon looked away. Ariana swallowed. It's not what you think. You're right, I said. It's worse. She tried to approach me, but I stepped back. Let's just sign, I added. That's what we're here for. Her lips parted. Can we at least know? I said. Not today, Damon muttered. Probably for the best. She shot him a glare. I ignored them both and walked to the table where the documents were already laid out. My hands shook, but I forced myself to grab the pen. Ariana watched me like she wanted to say something, but the words never came. They never do when they matter. The scratch of the pen felt heavier than the actual choice when it was done. I closed the folder gently. You got what you wanted, I said. I hope the results of your test are worth it, Ethan, she whispered. I lifted a hand. Don't. I left before my voice cracked. The elevator ride down felt like suffocating in slow motion. Each floor passing felt like a reminder that I wasn't climbing anything. I was falling. And then, right as the doors slid open to the lobby, a woman stepped in front of me, tall, striking, dressed like she owned the space. Ethan, she asked, brows lifting. I blinked. Yes. She laughed softly. Thought so? Zara Knight. Right, the model from the company events. The one everyone stared at while pretending not to. I nodded awkwardly. Hi, you look like hell, she said bluntly. I let out a humorless breath. It's been a theme lately. She tilted her head. Did something happen upstairs? Just signed my freedom away, divorce. She guessed. Yeah. Her expression softened, almost surprisingly gentle. I saw the way she treated you at those events, Zara said. You always walked behind her. Like furniture. I didn't mind, I muttered. You should have, she replied. Men like you deserve someone who actually sees you. I rubbed my neck. I'm not sure that's true anymore. It is. She gave me a small, confident smile. And if you ever need someone to talk to about anything, call me. She slipped a card into my hand. I stared at it. Why? She shrugged. Because you're interesting. And because pain like yours doesn't come from nowhere. It comes from loving too hard. I swallowed. I don't think I'm anyone worth noticing right now. It's funny, Zara said, stepping closer. Most people notice you more when you're broken. Something about the honesty of it. I didn't know what to say. She tapped the card. Use it whenever you're ready. Then she walked away confident, unbothered, like she didn't just flip my entire perspective for the day. Outside, the cold air hit my face, but it felt different this time, less like punishment, more like permission to breathe. I looked down at the card again, still confused, still bruised, but not invisible. For the first time since Ariana kicked me out, something inside me shifted. A flicker. Small, but real. Maybe I wasn't disposable. Maybe I was finally beginning to see myself the way others apparently could. And for the first time, the twist wasn't what Ariana did. It was what I was starting to feel. I brought you dinner again, Leela said as she stepped into my tiny basement room, holding a warm container. You haven't eaten all day, have you? I sighed and rubbed my face. I've been busy. The job search is killing me. You need food more than excuses, she replied, placing the container on the table. Eat before you fall over. Fine, I said, though my voice sounded empty. No, you're not, she said softly. But you're trying, and that's something. Her words settled in my chest. I didn't know how to answer, so I opened the container and took a bite. It tasted like comfort. Later that night, my phone buzzed. It was Mia. Did you drink water today? She asked the moment I picked up. I blinked. That's your greeting? Yes. You look like a man who forgets basic survival. I'm doing better, I insisted, then prove it. Rest, hydrate, and stop punching walls. I only did that once, I muttered, and once was enough. Don't make me drag you to the ER again. Despite everything, a small smile tugged at my lips. Yes, doctor. The next morning, another message appeared. Era, rise and shine, handsome. Remember, trouble doesn't last forever. I stared at her text longer than I should have. Someone actually cared enough to check on me. 3 people, actually. I breathed out. Maybe I wasn't alone after all. A few days later, I got a call from an unknown number. Is this Ethan Hayes? A firm voice asked. Yeah, speaking. This is Morgan Wade from Titan Corp. We came across your application, and your old recommendation from Ms. Steele was still on file. We'd like to bring you in. I blinked. Wait, you want to hire me? Yes. Your portfolio is strong. Can you start Monday? Yes, I said instantly. I can. When the call ended, I stared at my phone. For the first time in weeks, something went right. I told Leela first. Ethan, I knew you'd land something good. I'm so happy for you. Feels unreal, I admitted. It's not unreal. It's deserved, she said stubbornly. Then Mia texted, Good. A job means income. Income means stability. No more self-destruction. And then Zara knew you had it in you. Celebrate tonight. I didn't know what to say, so I replied, Maybe later. For once, my chest didn't feel so heavy the next day. While I was arranging the few belongings I had, my phone buzzed again. Ariana, can we talk? I stared at the screen, feeling nothing. No longing, just emptiness. I locked the phone. Later at work, during lunch, a coworker leaned over. Did you hear about Damon Black? I frowned. What about him? He's drowning. A scandal hit his company. Investors are pulling out like crazy. It's bad. I froze. Seriously? Yeah, some insider leak. Rumor says someone close to him messed up. My heart tightened. Ariana, she left me for a man whose empire was falling apart. She tossed me aside like trash, only to land in a sinking ship. I stepped outside, breathing in the cold air. For once, the pain didn't choke me. It lifted, Lila called that evening. Hey, how was your first day? Good, better than I expected. I knew it would be, she said warmly. You're stronger than you think, Mia texted right after. Keep going. Forward only. Then Zara, send me a selfie. I want to see your new start face. It's for the first time in a long time, I laughed. Karma didn't roar. It whispered, but I heard it clearly. Maybe that whisper is enough, I murmured to myself, sitting on the edge of my small bed. The room was quiet, but my mind finally wasn't filled with noise. Maybe this is the start I needed. My phone buzzed again, and this time it was a message from Lila. Proud of you. Don't forget that. I typed back. Thanks. Really. A moment later, Mia called. I'm not checking on you as a doctor, she said, but as someone who doesn't want you to fall again. I won't, I told her. Not this time. Good. Keep going. Then Zara sent another message. Still waiting for that selfie. I shook my head and finally snapped one, sending it to her. She replied, There he is. The guy who's going to rise? I felt something warm spread through me. Maybe hope. I lay back and stared at the ceiling. Ariana, you don't get to break me twice, I whispered. Not anymore. For the first time since everything fell apart, I felt like I was standing again, even if it was on shaky ground. And for now, that was enough. I finally breathed again tonight. I had just stepped out of the building when I heard someone whisper my name, soft and shaky. Ethan. I turned and saw Ariana standing near the entrance, her makeup smeared and her eyes swollen. She looked nothing like the woman who once ordered me out of her life without hesitation. "Why are you here?" I asked. My voice didn't shake this time. Hers did. "Ethan, please." I didn't know where else to go. I felt a cold wave move through me. "You have Damon?" I said. She flinched. "No," she whispered. "I don't. He cheated on me. Again. And this time he dragged my reputation into it." She stepped closer, reaching for my arm, but I moved back. "Please don't walk away," she begged. "I need you." I stared at her mascara-streaked face. Part of me wanted to feel pity, but something else rose faster. Real anger, the kind I used to swallow to keep the peace. "You need me now?" I said quietly. "After throwing me out like trash?" Ariana wiped her cheek. "I was wrong. I made a mistake. We can fix this. We can start over." I almost laughed. "Start over?" She nodded fast, desperate. "Yes. I know I hurt you. Damon lied to me. He used me. I cut her off. "Ariana, stop. I'm not your backup plan." The word surprised even me. She froze. "Backup plan." I met her eyes. "You chose him. You replaced me before I was even gone. Now that he ruined your life, you want mine back?" She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. She whispered, "Ethan." I was scared. I thought Damon could give me a better life. But he destroyed everything. People are blaming me. Reporters are waiting outside my building. I don't have anyone. I felt a bitter laugh rise. "You had me," I said. "You just didn't want me." She shook her head quickly. "No, I did. I still do. Please, just talk to me somewhere private." 5 minutes, please." "No," I said. The word felt heavy, but right. "Ethan, please," she whispered, stepping closer. "Don't do this to me." "I'm not doing anything to you," I replied. "I'm doing something for myself this time." She bit her lip. "So you're really walking away? After everything we had?" I breathed out slowly. "You ended everything we had." She reached for my hand, but someone else grabbed it first. "He said no," Lila said, stepping beside me. Her voice was calm but firm. Ariana's eyes widened. Who are you?" "Someone who actually cares about him," Lila replied. I felt my chest tighten. Ariana shook her head. "Ethan, you're choosing her over me?" I answered softly. "I'm choosing myself," Ariana's voice cracked. "You can't just leave me like this." I shook my head. "You left me first." She tried again. I was confused. I didn't know Damon would. "Ariana," I cut in. "Stop blaming confusion. You chose him because you thought he was better. Now that he failed you, you're looking for someone safe." Her lips trembled. "I'm not using you. You always used me," I said. "For comfort, for support, for stability, but you never respected me." She stepped back like the words hit her. "I can change," she whispered. "I can do better. Just let me try." I shook my head again. "I'm not your project. I'm not your second choice." She covered her face and sobbed. People were staring, but I didn't move toward her. "Not this time." Leela squeezed my hand gently. "You did the right thing," she whispered. I exhaled shakily. "Then why does it still hurt?" "Because you cared," she said. "But caring doesn't mean you have to go back." Ariana knelt on the ground, crying, but I kept my eyes forward. "Let's go," Lila murmured. I nodded and walked with her, leaving Ariana behind for the first time. My heart felt heavy, but also strangely free. "I'm proud of you," Lila said as we reached the corner. I looked at her and whispered, for once, "I'm proud of me too." For the first time in years, I walked away feeling stronger than the pain that once owned me. Zara called me early in the morning and said, "I want you at a charity event tonight. Don't say no." I rubbed my eyes and answered, "Why me?" She laughed. "Because you look good in a suit, and I want you beside me." I felt heat rise in my chest, but said, "Let me think." Right after I hung up, Mia texted me, "Are you free today?" "I want to take you out for coffee and talk," I replied. "You make it sound like a therapy session." She wrote back, "Maybe it is." You need someone who won't lie to you. I stared at her message for a moment and felt something warm settle in my chest. Then Lila knocked on my door. Ethan, are you awake? I opened the door. She held 2 movie tickets in her hands. She said softly, I got these for tonight. I thought maybe you'd want to go. With me, I blinked. Tonight, she nodded quickly. If you're busy, it's okay. I just wanted to ask. I looked at her gentle eyes, thought about Mia's steady presence, and remembered Zara's bold voice. 3 women. 3 different worlds pulling me in different directions. I whispered, why now? Why all at once? Lila stepped back a little. If you don't want to, it's okay. No, I said. It's not that. I'm just surprised. She gave a tiny smile. I like spending time with you. That's all. I swallowed and said, let me figure something out. Later, I met Mia at a small cafe near the hospital. She waved me over. Sit. You look like you didn't sleep. I sat down. I had a busy morning. Mia raised an eyebrow. Busy with what? Emotional chaos. I sighed. Something like that.
Ow.
She leaned closer. Ethan, you're allowed to live again. You don't have to sit in the ruins she left you in. I looked at her hands around her cup. Sometimes I feel guilty for moving on. Mia tapped the table. You shouldn't. You gave everything. Now let someone give to you. I stared at her, feeling steady for the first time. In the evening, Zara picked me up in a black car. She looked at me and grinned. See? You clean up well. I laughed. You've dragged me into this. You needed it, she said. You're finally shining again. I swallowed. Do I really look like that to you? She chuckled. Yes. You're not broken. You're rebuilding. At the event, she held my arm like I mattered. People actually smiled at me. Not because of Ariana, because of me. Zara whispered, You feel that? That's your life opening. I felt something rising in my chest. Hope. When I got home, Lila waited at my door. She asked softly, So, how was your night? I smiled. Different. Good different, Lila nodded. Can I ask you one thing? Sure, I said. She looked down. Do you feel anything for me? I stepped closer. I just don't know where my heart is yet. Lila gave a small smile. Then I'll wait. Just don't disappear, I whispered. I won't. I closed my door after she left and leaned against it, breathing slowly. My heart felt torn in 3 different ways, but for the first time, it wasn't painful. It felt healing. I sat on my bed and said out loud, What is happening to my life? I thought about Lila's gentle voice, Mia's steady eyes, and Zara's fearless smile. Each of them touched a different part of me I didn't know needed attention. I whispered, Why do they all care about me now? Then I answered myself, Maybe I'm finally learning to care about myself too. I lay back and stared at the ceiling, trying to calm the rush inside me. My phone buzzed, and I saw 3 messages waiting. Lila wrote, Good night. Mia wrote, Don't overthink tonight. Zara wrote, Had fun. Let's do it again. I stared at the screen and whispered, Why do they all see something in me? I didn't know the answer, but for once, the question didn't hurt. I felt a soft smile form as I closed my eyes. I finally felt at peace. It was late when I stepped out of the small workshop, the sky dim and the street quiet. I didn't expect anyone to be waiting, but as soon as I saw the figure near the gate, my chest tightened. Ariana? I whispered. She turned, and even in the weak streetlight, I saw the disaster on her face. Her mascara was smeared, her eyes swollen, her breath shaking. I didn't know where else to go, she said. I swallowed. What do you want? I need to talk to you, she said, stepping closer. Please. Just listen. I didn't move. Talking has never been your problem. Listening was. Her lips trembled. Damon left me. I said nothing. He ruined everything, she continued, voice cracking. He made a fool out of me. He leaked private emails, sabotaged the project, and now the board wants to replace me. My reputation is collapsing. Everything is collapsing. I let out a slow breath. That sounds like something he'd do. It wasn't supposed to be like this, she said. He promised he loved me. He promised he'd support me. I thought she pressed a hand to her forehead. God, I was so stupid. You weren't stupid, I said. Just blind. She shook her head violently. I know I hurt you. I know I destroyed what we had. But I didn't realize what you meant to me until everything fell apart. You were the only one who ever truly cared. That was true, I said quietly. Once, she stepped closer, fingers brushing my wrist. Can we start over? She whispered. Please. I pulled my hand back. No. Her face twisted. Why not? I'm trying, I'm apologizing, I'm Ariana, I said, firmer than I had ever spoken to her. I'm not your backup plan. She stared at me like she didn't recognize me. You always forgave me. Yeah, I said, and look where that got me. She reached for my wrist again, gripping it desperately. I need you, okay? I need someone who actually believes in me. I need someone who won't leave me like he did. I need you, don't need me, I said. You need stability. You need honesty. You need consequences. She let out a choked sound. I'm begging you. I heard you, I said. And I'm still saying no. Tears poured down her cheeks. Tell me why, she demanded. Tell me why you won't come back when I'm finally choosing you. Because I'm not choosing misery again, I said. She shook her head. That's not an answer. It's the only one you'll get if you keep pushing. Then give me another, she snapped, voice rising in panic. Give me the real one. I took a breath, the kind that felt like closing the last door to a room I once lived in. Fine, I said. You want the truth? She nodded frantically. I'm not coming back, I said, because now I know what real love feels like. Her mouth fell open. Real love? Yes? Who? She demanded. Leela, Zara? Mia. I don't owe you names, I replied, but I owe myself peace. She stumbled back as if I'd struck her. You're choosing them over me? I'm choosing myself over the version of me you built, I said. The man who begged for scraps. The man who worshipped someone who didn't even look at him. That's not fair, she cried. It's honest, I said. She shook her head again, tears dripping onto her blouse. You said you forgave me. I did, I said softly. A long time ago, then why are you doing this to me? Because forgiving you doesn't mean returning to you. She covered her face with both hands, sobbing. You can't just leave. Not like this. Not when I'm falling apart. I'm not responsible for rebuilding you, I said. You rebuilt your life once without me. You can do it again. Cruel, she whispered. I never thought you could be cruel. Psst, I'm not being cruel, I said. For the first time, I'm being honest with myself. She looked at me, eyes red and broken. So that's it? That's it. She reached for me one last time. Please, I stepped back. Goodbye, Ariana. Her sobs followed me as I walked down the street, but they didn't pull me back this time. They didn't chain me to guilt or nostalgia. They simply drifted behind me like distant echoes. As I reached the corner, my phone buzzed. A message from Leela lit the screen. Did you get home safe? My chest loosened. For the first time in years, I felt light. Not because someone wanted me, but because I finally wanted myself. I took a slow breath, letting the night air settle inside my lungs. Lila called a moment later, her voice warm. You sound tired, she said. I am, I admitted, but it's a different kind of tired. You want to talk about it? She asked. Not everything, I said. Just enough. I'm here, she whispered. Always. Her simple words grounded me. I leaned against a lamppost, staring at the quiet street. Thank you, I said. For what? For reminding me I'm allowed to move on. You deserve more than pain, she replied gently. You deserve someone who chooses you. I'm finally ready to choose something good, I said. I woke up before sunrise, something I rarely did willingly. The quiet felt different, like the world had finally stopped shaking. When I walked into the workshop, Ryan glanced at me and raised a brow.
You look
Lighter, he said. I think I finally let go, I replied. He set down his tools. About time. You were carrying a boulder on your chest. It felt like that, I admitted. But last night, something shifted. Want to talk about it? He asked. Yeah, I said. But not because I'm breaking. Because I'm healing. Eh? Ryan grinned. Now that's new. I laughed softly. Everything feels new. I worked through the morning with a strange calm. At lunch, Mia stopped by the workshop with her usual gentle smile. You've been avoiding me, she teased. I've been avoiding everyone, I said. But I'm done hiding. She handed me a cup of coffee. Good, because I came to check on the new version of you. The new version. Mia leaned against the table. The one who finally knows his worth. I took a sip, letting the warmth settle in my chest. It feels strange, I admitted. Not being broken. Supposed to, she said softly. Growth always feels unfamiliar. I nodded. Thank you. For being steady, even when I wasn't. She touched my arm lightly. You don't owe me anything except honesty. So tell me, how do you feel today? Stronger, I said. Clearer. Like I'm finally steering my own life. That's all I wanted for you, she whispered. Later, Zara barged into the workshop with her usual fire. So, she said, dropping a bag of snacks on the counter, rumor says, you had a dramatic night. I sighed. You hear everything, don't you? I'm a journalist, she said, smirking. Information just falls into my hands. I sat beside her. It wasn't dramatic. It was necessary. Necessary can still be dramatic, she said, and I'm glad it happened. You are? Zara nudged me. You needed a final break to truly move forward, and you did it. I looked at her. Thanks for not pushing me into anything. I'd never cage someone I care about, she said. I want you free. Even if I'm not the one you end up choosing. Her honesty hit me harder than I expected. Zara, she lifted a hand. Don't say anything yet. Just promise me you'll choose from clarity, not fear. I promise. As the evening approached, Lila called me. Are you free? She asked. For you. Always. She laughed softly. Meet me at the park? I walked there slowly, letting the cool breeze move through me. When I arrived, Lila was sitting by the fountain waiting. She stood when she saw me. You look different, she said. Everyone keeps saying that, 'cause it's true, she replied. You're standing taller. I sat beside her. I feel like I'm finally breathing. She looked at me carefully. Can I ask something? And you don't have to answer unless you want to. Ask. Are you done with your past? She whispered. I let the question settle inside me. Yes, I said. I'm done. Her shoulders dropped in relief. Good, because I didn't want to walk into a war zone, I chuckled. No more war, just rebuilding. And where do I fit into that? She asked. I met her eyes. Right now? You're the person who made me feel human when I thought I was nothing? She blinked fast, looking down at her hands. I didn't do anything special. You did? I said. You stayed. You listened. You saw me before I knew my own worth. She swallowed. So, what does that mean for us? It means, I said softly, I want to explore something with you. Slowly. Honestly. Carefully. Her breath hitched. You're choosing me? I'm choosing the path that feels right, I said. And yes, you're at the start of that path. She pressed a hand to her chest. Then I'll walk it with you. At whatever pace you need, I smiled. Thank you. We talked until the sun dipped below the horizon about life, mistakes, fears, dreams. No drama, no chaos. Just a people learning each other when I finally headed home. I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Peace. A week later, work promoted me. My manager called me into the office with a grin. You've been putting in the effort, he said. Time to reward it. Seriously, I asked. Seriously? He said. You've earned this. The raise meant I could move out of my cramped room. I found a small apartment with a balcony, nothing fancy, but mine. The day I moved in, Mia dropped off plants so you don't live like a caveman. Zara brought a framed quote that said, "Rise again." Lila handed me a keychain shaped like a tiny star. "For good luck," she said. I looked at all three of them, warmth spreading through me. "I don't know what I did to deserve people like you." "You grew," Mia said. "You survived," Zara added. "You chose yourself," Lila whispered. That night, after everyone left, I stood on the balcony of my new place. The city hummed softly below me. The sky stretched wide, free, endless, for the first time. I wasn't thinking about what I lost. I was thinking about who I was becoming. I leaned on the railing, closed my eyes, and said the words that had been forming in my chest for weeks. "I wasn't chosen at the start," I whispered into the night. "But now, I choose myself."